Hey guys, Lee and Michelle, Resistance Chicks coming at you January 12th, 2017. What do we have for them today, Leah?
We're going to talk about Epipens today.
Epipen. Many of you know what this is.
From $50 to $600.
There you go.
All right, but first let's find out what it does.
It is very, very cheap.
Epinephrine
Even
is
in the
medicine
developing
in there.
world, it costs less than $1 per milliliter, and there's less than a third of that in an EpiPen. But to save a life, epinephrine must be delivered quickly and in the proper amounts. People suffering allergic reactions often can't do it themselves. Drawing the drug into a syringe and then administering it to someone else requires training and precision that most people lack. For that, there's the Epipen. What makes this auto-injection device so special is not the drug, but the ease with which it automatically administers the correct dose without delay. The instructions are right in the side, and even if you don't read them, it's pretty easy to figure out. Pull off the safety cap, line it up against the thigh, swing and push. Boom, epinephrine delivered. The Epipen isn't new. It's been in use since 1977. Research and development costs were recouped long ago. 9 years ago, it was bought by the pharmaceutical company Mylan, which then began to sell the device. When Mylan bought it, EpiPens cost about $57 each.
Which still seems extreme to me.
And for various reasons, that has remained the case. The device actually worked and saved lives. People needed it. Mylan raised the price. It also began to raise awareness. Unfortunately, epinephrine is inherently unstable. Research shows that it degrades pretty quickly over time, and it's recommended that EpiPens be replaced every year. When my friends ask me if they can take an expired over-the-counter medication like acetaminophen or ibuprofen, I shrug and usually nod. If they don't get a full dose, it's usually not that big a deal. But epinephrine is no joke. People in anaphylaxis need a full dose every time. They therefore need to replace all their EpiPens every year, again and again. Kids need them in many places. They need them at home. They need them at school. They need them at camp. They may even need to stash a few at grandma's house. So people often need to buy quite a few. More revenue for Mylan. And it raised the price again. Then in 2010, federal guidelines changed to recommend that 2 EpiPens be sold in a package instead of 1. Studies showed that about 10% of children who received epinephrine from an EpiPen needed more than 1 dose. Better to be safe than sorry. Additionally, the Food and Drug Administration changed its recommendation,
So now you have to have 2.
funding preferences for asthma treatment grants to states that maintained an emergency supply of EpiPens. As the near sole supplier of the devices, Mylan stood to make even more money. That year, Mylan raised the price. Again. Of course, competition would bring the price down, but it's very hard to bring such a device to market.
So we go on and on. We can just kind of sum this up and tell you how the price was raised and raised and raised again. The point of our article today, I'm just going to kind of hit the punchline, is that very cool. The drugstore chain CVS said Thursday, today, it would offer a low-cost version of the authorized generic Adrenaclick, an alternative to the allergic reaction treatment Epipen, that will be priced at $109.99 for a 2-pack.
Which makes them $55 a piece for those of you that are slow with math.
That compares with the $650 cash price of the Epipen and the $339 being charged for the authorized generic to it. Adrenaclick is an epinephrine auto-injector made by Impax Labs.
So here's the cool thing. This is now going to be available for everyone that needs it. What is not cool is that the name brand Epipen, look at this. He said that research and development was done and put on market for this in 1977.
And not only that, it was done by the U.S. Army, so nobody, we help pay for that.
Right. So Mylan has no other expense than are you going to get to how much it costs on the inside? Then the tiny amount of epinephrine that actually goes into the EpiPen and this plastic distribution of it. It is very simple. This should probably cost like $5.
It costs $1 to make. And I'm going to have this doctor tell you how much it costs to, how much the epinephrine costs.
I do believe in free market as well, but if you look at, I could go out and buy a 10 ml vial of epinephrine, and in that one vial, I would spend about $6 for that one vial. In one 10 ml vial, I could provide enough epinephrine for 33 adult EpiPens and 66 pediatric EpiPens.
Oh my gosh.
So the cost of the epinephrine at that point in time in one adult
like nothing.
EpiPen would be about 18 cents and 9 cents for pediatric
The
EpiPen.
drug in here costs
So when you're
18
looking
cents.
at, something that costs 18 cents for the epinephrine, and you have to pay $600 for that medication, there's a disparity there that needs to be fixed.
Wow, you just did some pretty intense math, and I was thinking more like bring it back down to about $80 per EpiPen, and by the way, these are floating all over Fox Business. Our floor crew, our producers, a lot of the producers, their children. I have to ask you, is anybody in your family in dire need of always having an EpiPen nearby? You sound like you really have a real need for this.
Yeah, my youngest son is 2.5, and he had his first allergic reaction while we were on vacation in Hawaii about 1.5 years ago. My oldest son would only eat peanut butter, and my youngest son had it many times before, and he had some peanut butter, and he broke out in severe rash, and we treated him with the medications that we had at that time. Our pediatrician called in a prescription for an EpiPen. We went to the pharmacy that day, and we were told that they don't accept our insurance. It would have cost $500 out of pocket at that point in time, and that was the first time.
This is an emergency room attending physician, and his insurance won't cover an EpiPen. What you missed in the rest of his interview is he had used an EpiPen twice on one day, and he made this rant on Facebook about the price of EpiPen. And he did write a prescription for these people for the EpiPen, but he knew that they wouldn't be able to afford it, and he was so angry and he was so frustrated because he knew how much this cost to make.
Right.
And he knew that the company was, I think he goes on to say...
it really hit me as far as what's happened here. I just wasn't aware of this.
Well, you may very well have some type of effect, I'm not sure, but there are multiple investigations and multiple probes.
Here's the thing, as sort of right-wing leaning people, you would think that we're just pro-capitalist, right? Everything that a business wants to do, they can do, right? But that is what is wrong with our society when we allow, and I'm not saying that there should be, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, that there should be laws enacted, but this seems like fraud to me. I have to tell you. And that's not okay.
So listen to this is the only pharmacist on the House committee here, and
well, I think first, can you tell them who Ms. Bresch is to start with, so they have an understanding?
Ms. Bresch is the CEO
of the Epipen company, Mylan, that bought the Epipen. And when she started out, she was making how much money?
$2.4 million.
And when they raised, and that's when the Epipen was being sold for in the $50 range. When they raised the price to $600 and required a pack of 2, she got a raise to how much?
$18 million.
$18 million. But the expense of the Epipen was just too much. They had to raise the price. Go ahead.
Smaller degree on the generic.
Mr. Chairman, reclaiming my time, this is a shell game. That's all it is. Ms. Bresch, I hope you never have the experience of going to a counter and telling a mother of a child who has suffered from anaphylactic shock that she needs to pony up with $600. I hope you never experience that, Ms. Bresch. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
So he had previously asked Ms. Bresch if she had ever seen somebody in anaphylactic shock, and she said no, but she's selling these. She's never seen a person in anaphylactic shock, but she is in charge of promoting these and selling these and raking in bazillions of dollars. So they got another congresswoman here. She asks, you're going to pick up where one of the congresswoman asks about the fact that they moved their capital, their company headquarters to the Netherlands, but everyone lives and is based in Pennsylvania, so it's a tax evasion.
So, from our perspective, last year, hardworking Americans had to pay 25% on all amounts that they've earned over $38,000. But Mylan, which according to the SEC filings, had earnings in 2014 to close to $1 billion, you pay lower tax rate than many individuals who are struggling and who are possibly parents who need access to those drugs for their children. Did you lower the cost of the EpiPen since Mylan would be saving so much in taxes by this move?
So the 15 to 17%
Way she
is
talks.
our global tax rate. I mean, that's after averaging everything out. So we in the United States are still paying higher taxes on everything that we sell
So
in
from
the
the,
United States.
from the benefit that you derive from moving your headquarters, did you lower the EpiPen cost here in this country?
We're still paying taxes.
That's a
for
yes or a no,
our
ma'am?
higher taxes.
So that's a no worry, yes, or that would be no?
We did not lower.
Okay. According to an article in the Washington Post, as a result of this tax inversion, some Mylan executives based in the U.S. face higher personal tax liability to stock related to stock that they received as part of their compensation. That same article stated that Mylan paid you more than $5 million to cover these taxes. So while Mylan skirted its tax
$5 million
liability
worth
and
of
left our
taxes.
country, leaving hardworking Americans to foot this bill, you didn't have to worry because Mylan paid more than $5 million to cover your personal taxes. That's really hard to deal with and hard to believe. You are the CEO of Mylan, right?
Yes.
When Mylan moved its official headquarters abroad, did you move to the Netherlands?
No.
According
goes
to
on
your
and on.
website, and I quote, the chief
No. It's tax evasion, tax evasion, tax evasion. So that's kind of the essence of it. They went from $50 to $600 a pen. What the CEO kept saying over and over again, but we only make $274 for those two EpiPens. But you see, that doesn't make any
After their
mathematical
overhead, even, she's saying. After
That
all
doesn't
their
make any
overhead.
sense because they acquired it and it was being sold for $57. So then the company that they acquired it from was in the hole $150 for every pen that they put out. Yo, a lying. Trey Gowdy went on to say, you're actually making more money off of the generic, selling the generic for $300, and she's like, yeah.
Well, the good news is that if you and your family members need an EpiPen, I
Go
still
to
think this is
CVS.
outrageous, but go to CVS. You can get 2 for $109.99.
Yes.
So there's our EpiPen coverage, and this is Leah and Michelle signing off for
It's
Resistance
not a
Chicks.
conspiracy theory.
If it's the truth, remember to follow us on Twitter and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Resistance Chicks,
With a C.
CHICS.
See, they wouldn't let us have the K.
Too many letters.
I was caught